Hey guys, welcome back. Speedy Guy here. So this is going to be a video on how to solve the Megaminx. Again, the Megaminx is one of those hard looking cubes, but in reality I would say it's about 95% of a 3x3, so don't worry, it's not really that hard. So in this video I'll go over how to solve it, and just a prerequisite, I would say you need to know how to solve the 3x3 for this video, but if you don't, you can head over to like Rubix.com, or there are lots of great tutorials on YouTube. And if you guys really want, I can post a series on how to solve the 3x3, but there are already like tons of videos on how to solve that. So yeah, let's get started. So basically, the first part of solving the Megaminx is exactly the same as solving the 3x3. You want to solve one layer. So first you have to make your white cross, and then you have to put in your corners. So making your cross is a little bit different, but not that different, I would say. So we're going to look around our cube for white edge pieces. So these are your edges. You're going to have 5 of them on a cube, if you can see right here. 5, and we're going to have 5 corners compared to our 4 edges, 4 corners on a normal 3x3 Rubik's Cube, like this. So we're going to want to find one which is with white on it. And our goal is always to get it aligned with the green center, or the same color center. So in this case, it would be green. And once we have it aligned, we just want to keep moving that face, the green face that is, until it lines up with the white center. So in this case, it's just a simple movement. Yep, just like that. So again, it's going to be simple, just like the 3x3. Going to look for another edge. Here's a yellow and white one, which is already lined up to yellow. So we're just going to rotate the yellow face till it lines up with the white center over there. Now we found a white and blue piece right here, if you can see. Yep. So we're just going to rotate the layers and bring it close to the blue center. So the blue center is over here, our piece is over here. So we're just going to keep rotating it like that. And then once we get it lined up with the blue center, we're practically done. And we just need to move the blue center till it lines up with the white center. We need to move the blue face till it lines up with the white center. So yeah, that's about it. Now we're going to look for another one, purple right here. Line up with the purple center, rotate purple face till it lines up with the white center. And last, this one's already there, but just for the sake of the video, I'll put in like some really obscure location. So here's the red and white center, and our red and white edge, and our red center is all the way over here. So we're just going to quickly just rotate, keeping it off our solved faces, so we don't want to move those layers because that'll mess up our solved edges. So it's right here. Just going to keep rotating, and it's lined up with our red right now. And then we're going to move our red face till it lines up with the white center. And yep, that's about it. Next, exactly the same again as your 3x3. We're going to solve the corners. So here I already have one solved. You want to make sure it lines up with the edges, and with both edges and the centers. So it's again exactly the same, except there are 5 edges, corners in this case. So just simple way, bring it underneath where it needs to go. So here we have the white, purple, and green edge. We're going to bring it underneath where it needs to go. Just like what we do on the 3x3, we bring it so it faces, and then we put it right in. And just keep solving like that. And just one thing to note, so if you're more advanced like 3x3 solver, you probably know what F2L is. So F2L does work on this cube. So I'll give you an example. So here on top, we have a white, red, and green edge corner. We're going to look for the red and green edge, bring it over here. We have opposite colors. So we want to bring it one edge away, basically. And then if it's right above where it needs to go, we are just going to perform the normal movement. And as you can see, it's right in there. And yeah, so if you don't know what F2L is, you can completely ignore that. We'll go over the middle layer next. But it does work for if you want to solve it quicker. So I'm just going to quickly solve them all. Looking for edges, moving them where they need to go, and then using the same 3x3 methods to get them in, like that. Now we have them all done, as you can see, and now we want to do the middle layer. So again, exactly the same as the 3x3, nothing that hard. we're going to line up the colors. So we have a purple and green, which needs to go here. So we're going to line up the purple. And it's best if you know like the 3x3 formulas using logic rather than notation, because just looks a little weird on this. So in this case, if you're using notation, this is your up layer, left layer over here, and then yeah, front face would be your purple face, and just use the exact same formulas to get them all in. So there's one, and I think you all know how to solve this. So we're just looking for different edge pieces, moving it around the cube. Here's a yellow and blue. Move that up and put it right in. There we go. Oh my god, I can't find any. There. Here, we got it lined up to the yellow, but the purple is on this side, if you see this edge. So I'm just going to move it. It lines up with the purple instead. And then I'm going to solve it. Like that. And now we can look for blue and red right here. And we have all of the, I guess, first middle layer done. And I'll talk more about what to do next. So yeah, you can see all the middle layer is done. And basically, from here on, we're sort of solving, like on the 3x3, we're solving our first face just continuously over and over until we get this blue, red, green, purple, yellow, all those faces completely solved. So the way to do this is to start with one face. So I'll start with red. You want to find an edge, like one of these two edges. So if I look around, I found the purple and red, pink and red, sorry. Gonna line that up right there, line it up with the red. That's good. Now, now that I have this edge, I want to solve basically this corner and then this middle layer piece. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to use F2L, but if you don't, just follow the steps we used in the last part, solving these middle layer pieces. It's exactly the same. So there we go. Oh my god. Oh, here. See the problem. And there. Got one in. The first face is a little more, the first and last face that we solve is a little more tricky. So here we have to do two edges. Normally you only have to do one, and you'll see why. So I need to do this red and yellow edge now. Get that in. Okay. Now I have the red and pink. Yep, that's the edge. Got that in. Now last corner right here, the red, green, yellow. So I'm going to look around for that. Found it. And then our green and yellow edge. There we go. Then we shall move this up. And just use F2L to get that right in. So now we have the red face completely solved, as you can see. And we will move on to our green face. So now we only need one edge, and this is what most of your layers are going to be like. So I'm just going to get that blue and green edge right in there. We're going to look for the yellow, green, blue right there. And we're going to look for that edge piece. So yellow and blue, where is that? Oh, right here. Oh boy. So just going to separate them, do some OLL, F2L, sorry, and get that in. Now here's the corner, and where is the edge? We're going to bring it there. And we have solved the corner and the edge. And again, if you don't know how to do F2L, just stick with them by doing the corner first, then doing the edge. So just, I'll do this one without doing F2L. So I'm going to put that corner in there, right, like that. And then we're going to look for that edge, blue and orange, and get it right in. Okay, just like that. And now we're looking for purple, orange, and yellow. There we go. Again, I'll do it without F2L. And now we can put that in using the standard formula. Okay, so this part is pretty repetitive. You're going to keep going until you get to the last two layers. So we have yellow and blue left, because all red, green, and purple are solved. So yellow, you're just going to solve the normal way. Don't worry about, well, no, yellow is where you have to start making some changes. So let's start with this yellow, green, orange. That's going to be exactly the same. Just solve. There we go, that's in right there. Now, as you can see, our top gray layer that we've been moving pieces in, we can't really get a piece down here. So we just need to remember the colors that are here. So we have yellow, green, blue. That's the corner we're looking for, and we're looking for the green and blue edge. So again, F2L works, but what we want to do is we want to rotate it. So now that part, the little slot just moved up, and it's sort of connected to our top layer, our top gray layer. So we're going to start by just getting this edge in. One sec. Don't want to get it in like that because I want to show you how to do it without F2L. So we got that edge in right there. Now we want to get our, we got the corner in and we want to get the edge in with it. So standard formula, but you don't really see the centers anymore. So I realized that the blue has to be facing me because if I move it this way, you can see that the blue is what's supposed to be on the right side of this like cube, I guess. So that's why my blue is facing and it's not on this side. So just going to get that in, and now you can see this is lined up. Going to put that in, and this last one is exactly the same, and here it's just simple F2L or solve it in the normal way. Okay, now this last part, we are going to be looking at the gray layer. So our first goal with the gray layer, just like this is like our yellow layer on the 3x3. We want to get the yellow cross on the 3x3, and here we want to get our, I'll call it a star in this case. We want to get our gray star. So we want to use 3x3 formulas. So it doesn't really matter which formula you use. If you want to be quicker, try to just find out what shape this looks like. So this looks sort of like the, one second, let me show you. So it looks like this yellow formation on the 3x3 that you're used to, and you use like the FUR formulas. I don't have the other layers solved, so that didn't work. So we're just going to treat it exactly the same and perform that formula. And as you can see, we have our gray cross done. Now our next part is to line these pieces on the gray cross. So this is sort of different from the 3x3, but we're using a 3x3 formula again. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to move it till we get some of the pieces aligned. And here we have two, so this is like our almost best case scenario. Whenever you have a solved edge, you want to leave it either in this spot or in this spot, because these two spots are not affected by the formula, and it rotates basically these three edges. So I'll show you how to do it in this case. It's the same formula. You want to do R, U, RI, or R prime. R, what am I saying? U, R, U, U, but another U to bring it back, and RI. So as you can see, these two are still solved, these two edges, but these three are not. So we're just going to have to solve that one more time. And as you can see, these 5 edges are gray edges are aligned with their respective centers. Okay, this was a very simple case, but let me get back and show you what would happen if we didn't get such a simple case. Okay, so here's another scenario, and basically all we need to do is we're trying to get an edge solved in either of these two spots to match up with the one solved edge we have. I have another solved one here, but this is basically useless because it's not adjacent to our solved, one of our solved edges. So we're going to perform the same formula that we did earlier, but since we're trying to get let's say we choose the green, right? We can choose to save the orange either in this position or in this position by like rotating the cube. But but the problem with saving it like this is this gray and green piece is going to stay where it is, and we want it to move because it will remain here, but we want it to get here. So to do that, we need to save this gray and orange piece on the left side so that this piece is free to move along with these three edges. So if I do this once with our orange edge solved here. Okay, now the green edge is here, so that's much better. Now we're going to have to rotate it again because our green face is over here. And again, nothing is going to change in these two spots when we perform the formula. So I'm going to move it back so that these two are saved. And now I can rotate these three and hopefully the green one will get solved. If not on our first try, on our second try. So it didn't get solved on our first try, still gray and blue. So I'm going to do it one more time. And now we have these two solved. So keep them in our left-right position and just what we did at the start. Same formula, didn't get solved the first time. Oh. Solved the second time. Now we have all of the edges done. Now, this is another easy part. Okay, but here we need to know some new formulas. So I'll walk you through them. But our goal here is we don't have to align all the gray on top. We want to get it so that these gray pieces, the corners are with their respective faces. So if we look at this is a gray, green, and orange, and the orange, green, between the orange, green, and gray centers. So it's in the right place, it just needs to be basically twisted. Here we have gray, orange, green, gray, pink, green, between the pink, green, and gray centers, so it's in the right place. But this is blue, orange, gray, not between those three. These three are in the wrong place. So what we want to do, in this formula, the edges that aren't changed are these two edges. So this edge and this edge. So any solved ones we want to keep on that side. And these three, why am I saying edges? These three corners are going to be rotated. Okay, so the formula is basically going to be using this as our left face, the blue face, pink as our right face, and gray as our top face. We're going to do L prime, U, R, U prime, L, U, R prime, and U prime. So now you can see that all the edges are in the right place. So we have gray, green, orange, between gray, green, orange, pink, green, gray, between those, yellow, gray, pink, and gray, blue, yellow. So they're all in the right place, and if it doesn't work on your first try, it might work on your second try. It usually takes 1 or 2 tries, but in this case, we did have 2 solved corners, basically, in the right spot. And in some cases, you might not. So let me quickly show you what to do if that's not the case. Okay, so if we quickly just look around, green, orange, gray. So 1 solved, this is not solved, this is not solved, this is not solved, this is not solved. So in this case, we're going to just leave our solved one in this position right here and perform the formula just a bunch of times till we get 2 adjacent ones solved. Because these 3 are going to rotate, so one of them is going to get solved. So if I perform the formula, which you will see on your screen, which I already showed you also, I performed it once, and in this case I got it 2 solved on the first try, but they're not adjacent. They are basically opposite. Yeah, so they're not adjacent to each other, so it's not as easy as what we did last time, but we do have 2 solved. So there is a little trick we can use, And it's using the fact that we know that these two edges are never going to change. So if we put our solved edge down here, oh yeah, so we have our solved edge down here, and we have another solved one up here, but right now if we were to perform the formula, these three edges would would rotate, and this solved edge would be basically destroyed. So we don't want that. So we're going to store this edge away by rotating the orange face, and now these three are going to rotate. And since the formula protects basically these two corners, nothing is going to happen to this solved part that we've already done. So in this case, it's really important to use the formula, otherwise you might get confused just looking at the cube. That used to happen to me a lot. So we're going strictly by the formula, no visuals or anything. So L prime, U, R, U prime, L, U, R prime, U prime. So we can see this edge is still solved. Nothing happened here, but still these three edges are not solved, these three corners, because we have pink, green, gray doesn't line up, blue, orange, gray doesn't line up, pink, yellow, gray doesn't line up. So we just need to perform it one more time and keep this layer up. So L prime, U, R, U prime, L, U, R prime, U prime. Now, from what we can see, we have the right ones over here, right here. It's good here, good here. Well, it's not good here, but these three are done. And once we move this back, you can see this is good, and this is still good. And nothing got messed up anywhere over here. So, yep, this is now the last part of solving the cube. One more formula to remember, but it's honestly like the easiest formula you've ever used. Some people use this actually to solve the corners on the 3x3. It's not super efficient, but you actually can't use any shortcuts on this, otherwise the whole cube gets messed up. And you must continue performing this formula completely, even once the edge is solved. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we want to just go one by one from each solved, from each untwisted corner. So we have one which is completely solved, but these four aren't. So the formula is using this or as our down face or D face, and this is our R face. So we need to perform this full formula, otherwise something will get messed up. So we're going to do R prime, D prime, R, D, and keep repeating this. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, prime, R. See, we have it solved, but you need to do this D, otherwise it won't work. And don't worry, it might look like this isn't solved right now, but it'll be fine after. So we're going to do it again for this edge, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. Twist our U layer, one more, well, two more. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. And last but not least, we have R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. See, it all ends up being solved in the end. And we're going to rotate our top layer till the whole Megaminx is solved. So this was quite a bit longer than I expected to show, but this really isn't that hard of a cube to solve. If you learn F2L, you can greatly shorten your times because half the cube is just doing corners in the middle layer, so that helps a lot. And just practice and making sure at that last step to finish the full R prime, D prime, R, D sequence, because if you take a shortcut, which I've done so many times, countless times, you end up messing up like half the cube. So that's really annoying. And just knowing little tips and tricks along the way really helps you get faster. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this long video. So if you guys really liked it, please leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, And if you have any questions, leave some comments in the description, and in the comment section, sorry. And I'll get back to your comments as soon as possible. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.